Hi, Joel. So, I introduced the girls to phase one. There are 3 parts to phase one. We went over the first 2 parts of it, foam rolling and stretching. The girls did really great. They started off right away by telling me that they were really tired and not in very good moods. So, with that in mind, they did a very good job. Without exception, just collectively, their everything hurt on the foam rollers. There wasn't one of them that didn't have an area on their body that wasn't really sore and achy. As you'll hear throughout the upcoming video, you'll hear all their moans. Don't let them fool you and think that they're all sore. They were enjoying themselves. So, here's what we went over. The purpose of foam rolling is to find the sore spots in your body. Anywhere in your body. Everywhere pretty much is fair game, okay? When you find your sore spot, you stop. Don't move for about 20 seconds or so. Just putting pressure on that sore spot. After that 20 seconds, you move on and find the next spot. And that's pretty much just the basics of it. Why we do it is because when we put pressure on it, those sore spots, we actually get the nerve receptors in the tissue to start to relax. Think of it as flipping switches on and off. Okay, the foam roll is myofascial release. In this case, when you do it yourself, it's self-myofascial release. And it's going to help turn those switches off. The switches, when they're on, keep the muscles tense. They keep the tendons tense. They keep everything tense in your body. And we can't get proper mobility or flexibility, and therefore we can't perform as well. And probably even more importantly, we can't recover nearly as well. And that means your athletes are always going in at diminished capacity, practice over practice, game over game, especially in season. Okay. The next part of the model is the stretching part of it. You foam roll to turn switches off. Then you stretch what you foam roll to help re-educate the tissue to find its natural length resting position. What happens is, in the presence of all these tight spots, we just call them restrictions, the painful tight spots, right? Collectively, restrictions. When we have a restriction, we can stretch it, but what happens is it's been educated to be tight. Those tight nerve receptors with the switches on force the tissue back to a shortened position. You got to stretch it again and again and again, and it keeps just going back to its shortened position because it's protecting itself. So we foam roll, turn the switch off. Now with the switch off, we have a more productive stretch, and we start re-educating the tissue to relax in a longer lengthened position. Not only does this benefit ease of movement and mobility, but it also really helps with the recuperation process and the recovery process. So that's it. The rest of this is not narrated. It's just what we did. And at the end of it is just probably about 5 minutes. I recorded the end of your practice. Thought you might want to see. Looks like a bunch of setting and spiking going on. I found video really useful over the years for competitive athletes, both for the athletes themselves and for the coaches and trainers. You get to see a whole lot that you missed and get a very different perspective. So I'd really encourage that when there's the opportunity for it, to video and then review it with yourself and also with the athletes. Thanks.
And now we're on camera, so everyone's going to fake being in a good mood. Or not. So, yes.
I've been icing my quad all day.
Your foot?
My quad.
Oh, your quad. Oh, you were just lying down in there, aren't you? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Is it bruised?
No, it's just.
Okay.
I think it's just really tight.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so some of you used these before, some of you haven't used them before. Basically, it's myofascial release, and it's self-myofascial release when you do it to yourself. If you've got a therapist in there digging their elbow into you and stripping through the muscle, that's them doing it to you. This is the way you can manage it yourself. And really, the point is, the easiest way to explain it is, you kind of go through your body, and I'll show you guys how to get through your bodies, and you're looking for the sore spots. You're looking for the areas that hurt. That means you get on it, like you're seeing right there, right? Maybe you go in your quads like this, and you just start moving on it slowly, and you're looking for the sore spots. Where you go, oh, there it is. I would take them off, yeah.
Anywhere. You just roll it. Just like find it. Found it.
There you go. Shouldn't be hard, right? So here's the deal, guys. Girls, here's the model, okay? It's real straightforward. So you look for your sore spot, you find your sore spot, You freeze on your sore spot. Don't move. Try and relax into it for about 20, 30 seconds, right? You find your spot, you're like, oh, there it is. You try and relax the rest of your body around it and you breathe. Think happy thoughts. You can find a more comfortable position if you want. You can like do one of these numbers on it if you want. Think about draping your body around it, but make sure there's good contact with the sore spot. It should hurt, right? You hold on it for about 20 seconds, okay? 20-ish seconds is how long you hold on it, and then you move on to the next spot. So it's like a search and destroy mission. You find your sore spot, about 20 seconds or so, move on to the next spot. I know it seems counterintuitive, right? I said relax into it, and meanwhile, when you find a sore spot, your bodies are tensing up, right? You're like, oh, son of a, right? You're like, but that's what you're thinking. You're thinking, relax, relax. And what's going to happen over those 20 seconds, those nerves. So we're basically trying to turn those nerves on and off. And basically in this case, we're trying to turn them off. Now, here's the deal. If you stay on it for too long, like if you really get into it and you lay on it for a couple minutes, what's going to happen is you're going to go from turning them off to turning them back on. They don't need a lot of time. So really, about 20 seconds, move on to the next spot, and keep just doing the same thing, okay?
Should we go below your knee too? Yeah.
Here's the deal. Everywhere is fair game. There is no bad spot for the most part. And when this doesn't fit, later on, not today, but another time, we'll go over tennis balls and racket balls and softballs and slow and fast pitch ones because they're different diameters to get into all the good nooks and crannies like in your rotator cuff and in your hips. Okay, so I'm giving, listen up, this is a really good question here, right? How exactly should you do it? There isn't one right way. I'm giving you the framework, and like me, I'm gonna go into it right now. I'm gonna go, all right, I'm gonna do my hip like this. I'm gonna cross my leg. Here's a standard position I'm gonna give you to get into my butt, okay? And I'm gonna work around here, and I'm gonna go, all right, that's cool, I feel it right there. For me, that's good. You might go, you know what? Chris, I don't feel anything there. Actually, I'm like working around like this. Maybe I have to twist over like this and go, okay, for me, that's where I feel it. Every answer is right. You have to personalize it within the framework of how you're supposed to do it, right? So you first get your body on it, move it around the muscle group, and then you figure out what's tight for you. And if you have to bend your knees to get there, cool. If you got to rotate, cool. Whatever you have to do. Oh yeah, it feels great, doesn't it? Yeah. So when I said it wasn't going to be hard like before, that's exactly what I meant. Not like before.
And now I'm working my ass.
Yes. Hey, and Michelle brought up a great point here, right? This is what I love about working on the foam rollers is that you have to leverage your body weight and you have to manipulate your body weight in all these different positions while you are working through the tissue. So it's great for strengthening and stabilizing.
I want to see her movies like that.
Yeah, and all the cracking and stuff, totally fair game, that's good. Nope, the joints need to mobilize, especially in your spine, you're feeling it when you go on your back. Yeah.
Oh, found it. The tampon was hot.
So, all right, hey girls, let's regroup for a second now. I'm going to take you through, starting with the low body now, just to point out a couple particular things here. So let's all work through the calves right now. So we're all going to get in the same position here like this. Arms are behind us. Yeah, you can take off whatever you got on. Take off your wraps, take off your whatever, your shoes if you want, whatever works. Yeah, really, you don't want anything in between your muscle and the foam roller. So if you've got pads, wraps, braces, whatever they are, what's that?
Pants.
Pants, yes. Just
That's okay.
Okay, so we're gonna support ourselves with our arms. We're gonna lift up, right? And we're just gonna, another body weight support position, right? And we're just gonna push ourselves right forward, slowly just kind of going forward and back. Now, two things here I want to point out as you're doing this. Just take note, each of you, what's happening with your own bodies, right? Some of you are going to go, I feel it. Some of you are going to go, I don't feel it so much. We're going with the length of the muscle right now from ankle towards the knee, right? The other way is everyone stop midway through here now, and I want you to roll cross fiber side to side. We can do this with every muscle in your body. We can go with the length of the fiber. We can also, yeah. And you feel how you kind of clunk over those thick bundles of tissue? Yeah. Whatever. There isn't any right or wrong. Think of these muscle fibers. You ever see like overcooked pasta where like some of them get clumped together? Okay, your muscle fibers are just like that. They actually are like strands of pasta is how they look. And when they get sticky and tough and tight and overworked, they start to clump together a bit. We want to kind of roll them out. Now, for some of you, where you're like, okay, I kind of feel it a bit, but maybe it's not that big of a deal. Because there's not a lot of weight with our lower limb here. We can take the helper leg on top and put pressure on it to guide our way through.
My muscles are a little dead because I haven't used it in a week. It's like mush.
And keep in mind now, your muscles go all the way around typically, right? So we can also start rolling to the side now. Yes. We can just keep going all the way up. All the way to behind your knees, all the way. There you go. What's that?
She's like the pain in the bottom when you do it.
So from here now, we're going to work ourselves right up to a seated position on here. Kind of what I was doing a minute ago. We're going to cross the side. We're going to put the pressure into. We're going to cross that leg over. Support arm down, same side. I'll go like this. So the same leg that's crossed is the same arm that's down on the ground. There you go. And then keep your left arm down. Yep. Keep your left arm down. Like you are. That's your left arm. And then we're going to lean into that side. Other side. There you go.
Is it like your butt?
It's your butt. It's all around your butt. All right. There we go. And remember, what do we do here? You find your sore spot, and then what?
My sore spot is my shit.
For how long? Yes, about 20 seconds, right?
Oh, yeah. I found it.
And remember, don't stay on there too much longer because we don't want to irritate it. We want to just get it to relax and then move on and find your next spot.